well. Right, so it's is the start of our week 9, and I told you in the beginning when we had our first class or first week that it's fun stuff. The React is really fun. We are starting today React JS, and which is something you would really love to work with because it's going to give you a much power with your UI skills, your front end skills, and we'll talk about that. So, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like you said this yesterday.
Sorry.
I feel like you said this like yesterday, like you were talking about like in the first week you were talking about, oh, you're gonna love this. Now it feels like it was a week ago.
Yeah. You know the time flies. You're right. Okay, so we are starting actually React, and this is the and by the way, this PowerPoint is not on your server right now. You will find a slide over there, but I would prefer this one. I made this by myself, and this would be good. And I'll share this with you shortly. No worries. So yeah. So agenda for today, we'll talk about introduction to React, why we are just discussing what is React, by the way, React.js, why do we learn, why we are learning that, then when we know a lot of things. The key features of React, component-based architecture, virtual DOM, declarative UI, JSX, setting up React application. So it's a general agenda for today that we'll discuss. So let's just start with the first one and see what we want to discuss. Introduction to React. First of all, if I just show you, let me make it a bit smaller so that is more. So what is React.js? React.js is basically a front-end JS library to create intuitive and responsive UIs. So still we are talking about the UI, the front-end part. React being one of the JS library, it's a library, you can call it an environment that we use for making our UIs more and more robust, more and more intuitive, more and more interesting and responsive. So a lot of people start thinking at this point of time when we start React. When I start React at this point, some people would say that while we have already learned HTML, while we have already learned CSS a lot, while we have learned JavaScript a lot, before this the front end, they were all front end technologies, and we have already discussed all of them. Make sense, everyone? So a natural question comes in most of the people's mind, and it's very natural. It should come in everyone's mind. Then why we are learning React then? When we don't and by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can make a very good front end. We know the likes of media queries now. We know the likes of CSS grids now. We know the likes of Flexbox model as well. Why in the world we are learning then React? So you see that? I've just put that as a question. When we have already learned HTML, CSS, and JS, why should we learn it? Like, why should we learn React? Now, first point, and then I've given some motivations over here. First point, UI becomes difficult to manage with vanilla JavaScript. Now, vanilla JavaScript, just to remind you, traditionally the JavaScript that we work on, it's called vanilla JavaScript, the version that we usually work on. You write functions, you write everything, and it's called vanilla JavaScript without any specific framework or something. But here, we are saying that vanilla JavaScript, when we are working in core JavaScript, and we are trying to make a UI, and you will see, I'll make a little project with you guys, and you will really find it interesting, that if we work on the vanilla JavaScript, normal JavaScript, a time comes when there are big projects, your UI becomes very difficult to handle. By difficult, we mean that it requires much more effort to produce a lot of effects by using vanilla JavaScript, normal JavaScript, without anything else, without, for example, right now, plugging in your React.js into it. Now, there are different motivations to learn React. Let's talk about the first one. React will make UI so easy and intuitive with minimal effort. And as I said, we will do a little project today, and I'll do that project with you guys so that you understand, okay, it's a little project that you might want to just extend later on. So UI will become very easy to make, and very minimal effort. Minimal effort means, again, maybe compressed code, maybe there are lots of things that we'll talk about. Motivation number 2, Google current jobs for the React developers. If you go and try to find out on LinkedIn or those job boards, Indeed or everywhere, you'll find that React is a hot technology that people look into. Starting with JavaScript, they want to know that React. Number 3, huge community backing. What is the benefit if community is backing something? What is the benefit that it comes up with? Yeah.
There's a lot of modules like other programmers, other people wrote.
Wonderful. There are lots of modules that other people write. Other than that, yes. What is it? What's special about it that it has a huge backing community backing? What is the advantage of that? Do you know Stack Overflow? Do you know Reddit? And do you know the likes of these? And not like, let's talk about these AI chatbots as well, AI bots as well. ChatGPT and all this. So, they all actually go. Let's talk about, first of all, Stack Overflow and then talk about Reddit, for example. So, people, as much as large number of people will be using a technology, they will be putting their problems there and there will be people coming there to solve their problems. A lot of you. So when there is a huge community and, let's talk about this now, AI things that we have these days. They even actually learn from these environments. They just go there that I could learn from. For example, you have solved some issue. So some UI might have come to Stack Overflow and got your solution and just, change that solution to make it understand for the other people. Do you know what I mean? So huge backing community is always very important for that. Motivation number 4. Did I discuss any time this mean and MERN before? Never. No problems. I'll talk about that today. These are two technology stacks, mean and MERN. Now, let's talk about this mean and MERN. M is for, like they are same rather than R and A just. So M is for MongoDB. Does that sound that it's something related to the databases? Okay, MongoDB. Then E is for Express.js that we use to set up our server. Express is used to set up the server for a dynamic website. Again, first class, remember, I talked about dynamic website. A website that serves different contents to different users. That will have its own server. Your application will have its own server. You want to set up a server. And when someone will come and ask your website, you will do some processing and provide the data. Remember? So Express.js is one of the technologies that is used for setting up the server. Can you name anyone else? Do you remember any other technology that I can learn to set up my server as a dynamic website for? Any other name anyone remembers? Or not remembers, you might know new names. Yeah. Can I say PHP? Do you guys remember PHP? Server-side technologies. You remember we talked about server-side, PHP. And if you remember ASP, active server pages. And if I just go, there are whole lots of story over there, that there are lots of technologies. But Express is one of them. So we learned Express.js. Then comes the R or A because it's either mean or MERN. So R is for React, A is for Angular. Let's talk about that. And then last one is the Node.js. Node.js is something that we have already installed over here. I told you that it's an environment, it's a platform where we are working. Now listen, if you go with R or you go with A, anyways you go, you are becoming a full stack developer. Does that sound familiar, this term? You would have seen this term a lot, buzzing around. Full stack, full stack, full stack. A person who is capable of working on front end as well as the back end. Make sense, everyone? Though there are certain people are coming up with the ideas that it's a very useless idea to have a one person working on both technologies. Why don't you just keep a person for front end and why don't you keep a person for the back end? But again, you know that either of this stack will make you a full stack developer. Does that sound familiar? Full stack developer. Now, we try to understand this Mongo and Express as well. Node is something that we are already working on. Do you know that we have used this node command or npm maybe multiple times, or we'll be using that right now as well. But other than that, React or Angular. So some people say that I want to learn React. I am expert of React, and some will say I'm an expert of Angular. Make sense, everyone? So you can know either of the languages. In this course, what we are discussing the R part, the React part. So we won't be looking at the Angular. And I can assure you, if you understand React properly, it is just a matter of syntactical changes in the Angular. Make sense, everyone? So you need to focus what we are discussing here in React. Once you are good with it, and again, you come up with an opportunity after your course, and you say that okay, they are looking for an Angular developer. It should not take more than 2-3 hours for you just looking at the syntax. You know the basics. You have to just jump into and output into the syntax. Are you guys making sense of it? So keep in mind, we are learning React. Yes. But I would say that on the back gate, so we are also trying to learn the Angular as well. Again, just a syntactical change, and there might be some technical here and there changes, but this is what you will be paid for. You will do some work hard. You just look, okay, what are the changes, but overall. So So we are learning R, and R is the React part. And if I learn React, I am basically equipping myself with one of the technology that is required. We'll talk about Node and we'll talk about Mongo and Express both. We'll just talk about all of them. But we are right now talking about what? React. Motivation number 5. By far the most important motivation. Look at that. What is that? SPA. SPA. And what is that? Single page applications. Now, after this slide, as I said, we will start a project and I'll try to explain lots of things. But SPA is by far, I understand or consider, is the most best selling feature of React by far. What does that mean? If you are asked to make a website that has 10 pages, so you will make 10 .htmls, correct or wrong? You will make 10 HTML pages. Index.html, contact.html, history.html, etc., etc. And you will have 10 pages over there. Make sense? Which is very much fine. React and the likes frameworks, they would allow you to make an application that would have only one page. Isn't that surprising? If it is one page, how the data will come from there? We'll talk about that. But you guys understand? React and Angular will give you a facility that you will be able to make a single page application. Now, I would show you a website. And I would try to make this you to understand, you should understand that why I'm talking about what is this single page application concept all about. Now, how many of you about this Udemy? There's a Udemy website, which has course tutorials and, courses, online courses. Look at that. We have this Udemy. Now, very interesting. Now listen to this one. I come to Udemy and I said, I want to learn React. So I would say, give me React.js. I want to learn React.js. I hit enter. I get this searched page where you know that I have got multiple courses they are offering, and they have just shown me all those courses over here. Everyone agrees with that one? I want to tell you something very interesting that you might not. And one more application that maybe everyone will be using. I don't have an account. I don't use that. I don't know. Netflix. Have you guys used Netflix? Do you see that? It would be mostly like that. You will have lots of videos coming up, and then you say next, the new videos jump up, and you should see that. In the same way, you find here this courses. I want to show you something very interesting. Do you see this? They have offered this course, then second course, then third course, then fourth course. There are lots of courses over here. Make sense? Now, we are not concerned with that. I'm concerned with something very interesting. If I come here and I click on number 2, look at that. Number 2. Now, the new pack of courses is available now. New set of courses. Make sense? Makes sense? Now, tell me one thing. Did you notice something? When I clicked on this number 2, neither my browser nor my Udemy, they never spun. Are you guys understanding what does that mean? It is the same that we started asynchronous programming. You remember XML HTTP request? And I told you why we are doing that. Because we want to bring something asynchronously. We don't want our browser to get refreshed. Now focus on these 2 points. This refresh button and then the icon of Udemy, which is you. Look at that. I'm coming to Boredom and I say, no, I need more courses. I don't find these interesting. I click on number 3. Look at my refresh button and again Udemy icon. Did any one of 2 moved? Did they spin? What happened actually? Actually, what is happening? Now listen. Actually, what is happening? This area is basically remains the same. Just the data changes into this one. It's just like a container is same. And the data from behind has changed into that. Now, someone will be asking where this data is coming from. Still, it will be coming from server. But do you feel that it is coming asynchronously from the server somewhere? And now listen, it means when I am looking at this set of courses or the previous to that, I was always looking at the one page. Only the contents were changing. Are you guys getting that one? And now I'm telling you the real technical name. This is called component-based architecture. This is called one component maybe. This component, the server side with Next.js and React 19 codes, this is the code. This comes up with the picture of this, whoever has made that course, the rating and everything, the lecture number, everything. When I come here and when I click on, again, if I go back to number 2, for example, for some reason, somehow I want to go back. So what has happened? The component remains the same. The The container remains the same, course has changed. Are you guys getting that one? Can you relate it to the Netflix as well now? Where you see the movies, they come up, and you know when you say next. So actually the containers remain the same, the movies gets updated. And again, they get updated how? Asynchronously. You don't never know that how it's happening. So you know what does that mean, asynchronicity, that which we were trying to achieve with XML HTTP request as well. We are actually trying to achieve that our UI should not be disturbed. And if I want to have some data from the background, go and bring that data. I don't want to load my server back. Does that make sense? Because whenever you do a refresh, you know what is happening? Whenever I click this refresh, I'm actually putting load on the server back. Because from here, when I say refresh, actually I'm sending my packets from here that send me.html. Now, why did I start the discussion then? I was telling you about SPAs. Now you guys understand a little bit about SPA, single page applications? There will be only one HTML. Now, again, the next very sensible question. So where this data will come from? That will come in the components. How it will come, we'll just talk about that. But we understand, okay, it's a component-based architecture. So React is actually what? A component-based architecture. And the motivations that we have talked about, look at that. The motivations that we have talked about, the fifth motivation is single page applications. Now, if I go to the next slide, look at that. The key features of React, let's talk about the key features. It's a component-based architecture. What is it? Do you understand what is a component now? A React application will have multiple components and they get updated when you refresh something and your page does not get refreshed. So asynchronously, they will be breaking up data for you. Make sense? With encapsulated component that manage their own state. This is a very important word, state. State. And I would like to just talk about a little about it, even though you won't make a much more sense of it. And the project that we'll do, you will make much more sense of it. State. Are we right now, we all sitting in this room, like present in this room, are we right now in some of the mental state? Someone will be feeling happy, someone will be feeling sad, whatever, whatever happened to us before, whatever is about to happen to us. According to that, we are in a mental state. Is that making sense to everyone? Now, what I call state. State is what typical values someone has at a particular point of time. Are you guys getting? What does that mean? In components, every component's variables, what are the values of that variables at that particular time? It would be called as state of that component. Did you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So state, for example, if I ask him, for example, if I say, what state you are you happy or sad? So for example, he says happy. So I'll say right now his state is that he is happy, for example. And up to so on, whatever. Yeah, you are asking something?
For example, you can see some movies are coming soon. Can that be state? Coming soon?
Maybe yes, that somewhere goes and connect to that one. But right now, what we will say that coming soon as well, they are just showing the data that comes up, which is coming in the components, and that data has an attribution that it would be coming soon. It is not something which is readily available. Maybe you are right, that component right now is in the state which is not ready state. It is still waiting for something from that. Would make sense? More or less. But we understand a little bit. So I just said, let's Google some React-based sites, explore this point, Netflix, Udemy. So you can do Netflix. Virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is a very interesting one. Virtual DOM optimized rendering process to enhance app performance. Now listen, this is very interesting. Virtual DOM. Do you guys remember the DOM? What was DOM? Our HTML used to get loaded in the memory, and we used to access document.getElementById, document.querySelector. We used to say document.querySelector.addEventListener. Remember everyone? We have done DOM. In React, it provides us a virtual DOM. And what is the virtual DOM? For the time being, you can just remember that it's an access to all the areas and components of the React application, provided the provided way is called the virtual DOM that React provides on the top of our original DOM. And I'll show you the examples over there. But right now, just understand, virtual DOM is a DOM provided by React to interact with its application, with its components, with its everything. Make sense, everyone? Just try to remember these terms and we'll declarative UI here and just stop. Simplifies coding by focusing on what instead of how UI rendering. I'll show you a little project and then we will make this project as well because you would enjoy working with that. And I would never, show you the code. I will just show you the running of that project. You understand what is the project, and then we'll write code of it so that we get a little bit of practice of that as well. Okay. This is something that I've done with the other section yesterday. So I'll just run that project from there and I'll show you it's how it is going. So section 2 and week 9. And let's run this project. Look at that. It's a little project. Even you know, just the start of the project. So it has 2 boxes here, box 1, box 2. It has 10 balls in this box 1, and there are 0 balls in the box 2. And what we can do is that if I click on this right, for example, the ball moves from this box to the other box, which is just simple, some variable manipulated in behind. And we'll work on that. The point which I want to make over here is I'll just tell you. So if I click on this one, you see that if I keep on clicking, the balls keep on moving from this side to the other side. Make sense, everyone? This is one thing. In the same way, if I click on left, look at that. So the reverse process starts. The ball comes out from that box 2 and it comes with the box. But is it interesting one? That's just a beginning of something. And I will discuss it all code because I want you guys to just, maybe extend on that one. Maybe, try to make it a bit more interesting game, physically balls moving or something like that, whatever. But what do you guys think? Should we code it or should I just share this code? Because I coded yesterday with them. But again, we should we do that over here? Any suggestion? Should we do that from the scratch? It'd be good, it'd be good to just, start from the scratch. Okay. So now let's come back over here and allow me to just use its HTML. Can I take that HTML? Because, that would be good. So let's take the HTML, Control C. And what I'll do in my section 1, I'll create a folder called week 9 because we are now on week 9. Right? And in this week 9, again, what I'll do, I'll create an index.html. And I've just copied this index.html and I will share it with you as well, as I said, on the Teams. So let's come on the Teams and go and get this on your Teams. So now I'm sharing with you HTML of that one, and I'll paste that as a code. Index.html, and here is the code. Can you guys all copy this from there and paste it in your index.html? So we'll write its code, JavaScript, and everything by ourselves. Now, if you run that, of course, you will see, it's missing what? It's missing the CSS, right? So like that CSS as well, no problem. So this is the file that is running right now. Don't worry, because it's just in 10 balls and 0 balls, but nothing will work because there is nothing has happened here. Everyone tasted that HTML? And can you already see that I have used skeleton CSS as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. There is no CSS attached. We'll create a CSS attack that. Don't worry. But right now it's just CSS is not attached to it. Everyone done? In Week9, I just created index.html and I've copied and pasted the code, HTML code from my previous project, right? We will not copy and paste the styling and the script, right? We'll write the script by ourselves, right? All right, so this is the position right now. Now look at that, what I'm doing. I'm creating a script folder as I do always. Script or scripts, whatever you call it. I'll call it a script because I've used the script here. And in the script, I will write a script.js, which is, of course, should be automatically connected with that one. Okay, so script is there. And I would also do one more thing, styles, another folder, styles. And in that, I'll say style.css because I have used that. Style.css. And now I have just, connected them, all of them over here, but I will just check that one with my usual habit, alert of hello, and a background color to the body. Now let's run this one, and it's already running, by the way. So see that it has a hello here. It means the script is working, and it does not come up with a blue color. It means there might be something wrong. Let's see that if that is connected to the styles properly. Style.css, style.css. You see, it's good to always do that because, that will tell you, okay, there is a problem in your. So styles, style.css. Let's do that. Let's run this one. Yeah. So now it is connected, right? There was something wrong with that. So now it is connected and I don't need both of these. I'll remove this alert. I'll remove this styling as well. Now this should be the position for your project. I'll show you. And this should be the position of our script and everything. First of all, try to do the styling, looking at the HTML, right? Now we can give it any styling, by the way, but again, I will just try to follow what we saw before. So if I go to index.html, if you see here, there is a div ID is equal to game, which has those two boxes and buttons, right? Look at that. Those two boxes and the button is in div ID is equal to game, right? So the first thing that I would like to do is to make this game styling, right? Let's do that first. Now I would say display flex because I want to have all of them side by side. Look at that. If I say display flex, nothing is happening. Why? Because it is an ID and I'm defining a class. Look at that. All four things are in sequence now. Right? After that, let's come to the index.html and look at that. So there are two boxes, box 1 and box 2. Why not if I apply some styling to box 1 and box 2, some bordering and things like that, right? So I'll just come here and I say hash box 1. And because I'm applying common styles, I'll say hash box 2. Both of them should have this. So let's start with border because that will give me an idea. 1 pixel solid black. Look at that. Both boxes are ready now. And I can now write a lot of styling here. So they are very jammed with each other. So why not apply a padding of 10 pixel on each side, all sides? Looks good. Both of them have gone a little bit breathier now. And let's give it with the flex, justify content. And I say space between because, they will just adjust themselves according to the space. Space between, look at that. Now, for example, something like that, or maybe you can do any other way around. Okay, what else for the styling purpose? I think for the styling, it is enough. Yeah, one more thing maybe. Box 1 count and box 2 count. We will change their colors. So I can apply both same style, right? So I'll come here. Box 1 count. and comma hash box 2 count. And both of them, I want to say color green. Look at that, balls have color green. And now let's make their font size bigger. Font size, and I'll say 3 RAM. 3 RAM still looks a little bit 4 RAM. That looks good. All right. So as far as the styling is concerned, maybe I would like to make these boxes a little bit width, more width. So let's say 400 pixel. Look at that. That looks 400 is too much. Let's make it 300 pixels. And again, let's keep them. And one more thing that I can do is text align center, because when I make it bigger, I see that it's not center aligned. So I would have now these are the position of our boxes right now, right? So now we are starting the script. So be ready with that one. Okay, so let's start the script and make sure that your script is connected by the way. Remember, I have checked that with my alert, right? All right, so let's start with our usual way. DOM content loaded. And I will work inside this one. So now, actually, I have to apply some styling to left and right button, not styling, scripting to left and right button. So I'll first of all get reference to left and right button. So I'll say let left is equal to document dot query selector hash left arrow. Do you see that? It's hash left arrow. Look at that. I'll show you. The left button has an ID of left arrow, right? So hash left arrow, and then same with the right arrow. Okay, this is the first thing. We have got both of the buttons. So we'll play with them. But before that, I might need to maybe look at that. I might need to have these box count values for me because I will be playing with them. So now I would say, for example, let box 1 count is equal to, look at that, what I'll say, document dot query selector hash box 1 count, right? And same with the box 2 count. You guys know why I've done that? Because I want to get reference to those 10 and 0, right? Because I'll be playing with that. I'll have to change them. Now, interestingly, I would say box 1 count dot inner text, maybe I'll call it equal to, for example, let's say 10. And box 2 count equal to 0. Now, they were already there. I can check that whether they are, that is. Look at that. When I change the value, I see that 100 is coming up. You know what I mean? So I've just said that inner text of that one should be equal to 100 or 10, whatever, we are trying to keep it 10. Now the real part starts. Now I have to apply the right and left operation, right? So let's start with the right operation first. Right dot add event listener, click, click. Now see here, what should happen when someone clicks on the right button? So check if or let's define one variable and let's say I'll say total balls. Or we don't even need that. No worries. Right. So I would say if box one count dot we define them as a variable, just what we did there. Okay, there I just said that. Okay, that is fair enough. We should do that. I was just thinking, how would I do that with maths? So rather than giving them inner text like this, what I'll do is that I'll say let box one count equal to box one count value equal to 10 and let box two count value equal to 0. Right? Because we have to just play with these values. So I'll say if box one count value is greater than 10, right? So first of all, subtract one ball from box one count and add one ball to box count two count value. Make sense? Now what I'll do is that I would say box one count dot inner text is equal to box one count value and same ways for the box two count value. Make sense, everyone? We are changing the contents of one count and two count because we have got these over here. Now, if I come and click on this one, it does not do that. We'll just see. Sorry. Oh, condition is reversed, right? Right. But it's still. Still does it not give that? Why not? Let's inspect that one. No worries.
Box one count value is not.
Sorry?
It's not smaller than 10 in this case. That's why it's not smaller than.
So shouldn't be box two count value is less than 10?
No. We are talking about the right. So we want to move from 1 to 2. We are trying to move from 1 to 2. Yeah.
For the A, B, it's less than 10. Yeah, it's not less than 10. It's equal to.
Oh, I see. Okay. Should we do that? Yeah. But it's going to -1 as well. We'll just check that one. So now let's do that. It should not go to the -1, by the way. So look at that. It is just doing that one. So now this is for the right button. And now for the left button, very quickly, if we just make that left button. So left dot add event listener. Click. And let's write a function here in the same way as we have done over there. So now check that it's greater than or equal to 0, right? Do what? So on the left, we add 1, we subtract 1 from the box 2 count. Oh, value. And we add 1 to this one. And now, I need to update the values again. Okay, so I have, I'll have to just, settle my conditions here because, it's not doing that. So if I go to right, it goes and it should stop here at 10. But again, it just keeps on going. So we'll just see that what we are. So how can we adjust that one? Anyone? Where? Oh, we can use and. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So what to do now? You see that when I'm doing that, it just shows me the same thing, 372819. But it stops when it just, the condition, it goes out of the condition, it just gets stopped. So what can we do? So is it working for you all till this point? Again, we'll just handle that condition as well. But is it working for you that this point? That 10, either they moved here or then either they are moved here. Okay, so we'll just handle that condition as well. But first of all, why I just discuss that one. You tell me one thing. If I just come here and if I just comment this out and I comment even this one out, these 2 lines. You know what will happen now? The point I want to make over here. And I click on right, the values are changing. Do you guys understand that one? Values are changing, but can I see that change on my UI? No. Why? Because I am not explicitly going and updating my UI. Are you guys getting that one? So let's just discuss that. And we'll have certain the condition as well. Let's discuss that. Actually, in React, I talked about the state. You remember state? So what state will make us for that one? I will make a change in a variable set someplace, and that would be changed everywhere where their variable has been used. Are you guys getting that one? So in that way, what I want to say that if there will be a change in box 1 or box 2 count values, they will automatically get updated with our like everywhere where they are used, they will just get updated. Are you guys getting that one? So this in vanilla JavaScript, what we need to do, we have to go everywhere and we try to update that one. So for example, if I just do it for the first one, you look at that. If I just do it for the first one, I just come here and I select it and I just do it for the first one. Look at that. So it will work with this for this. But when I start doing that, of course, it is not happening, even though the values are changing. So you make sense of it? When we'll be working in React, we'll just make the change in the variable and we don't even need to use this or these lines to update our value. Are you guys getting that? That would be the state variable. Whenever it will change, everywhere this state variable is used, that would be changed with that one. Make sense, everyone? So this is typically what? This is typically what that declarative programming that we were talking about. So now you have got this one. And again, we can settle that other things as well over here with this. But this was the declarative UI that simplifies coding by focusing on what instead of how. So, we will just make the changes in the variable and we are not worried about where to go and update that variable. Does that make sense? So updates become or UI becomes more intuitive. The last point is JSX, which is of course we will talk about when we just start our application. So now I'm again expecting that your Teams is open. So I'm sharing with you something interesting that I would like you to just have a quick look at that one. So if I go here, I would give you a few minutes. It's a 17 minutes one, but I would give you a few minutes to just have a look at this one. Here is a link, and I'll share the file with you as well. Here is the PowerPoint as well. Now we are talking about how to set up a React project, right? So you will find this, I've shared these slides as well with you, the other slides. And there is a little video that I have recorded. So you have to just look into that one and try to come up with a React project and let's see how many of you can come up with a project. And then we'll discuss. I'll make that by the way, don't worry. I'll just make that here. But I want you to just try that out. That are you able to just create a React project by using that one? So try that out, all of you. If you see anywhere it is asking for some other installations, do yes to that one, right? There are two types of installations that I've discussed. You can skip out the manual one, just go with the second one, scaffolding one. So can you just maybe listen with that one, or maybe just a slower sound? Looks like I hate to hear myself. Sorry. I myself. Okay, sure. This one.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's already installed. Should I click on this one?
Oh, no, no. You node is installed. Now you follow the other instructions.
Is it the same?
Yeah, this is the node. Right, wonderful. Node is installed. No problem.
You take the other class, take the other class. All these ones are. I was in one minute there. It goes away. That's saving a little. Hey, well, what did you want to do? That's what like everything. Oh, the next step by steps. It's not showing up the full ones, just about you. Perhaps not very big. So now we double click that on page 5.
Anyone is able to install it now? Create a React project? Done? Okay, I'll just do
What's
that.
next?
Sorry?
What's next?
So you have created the project?
Yes.
Oh, can I see that? Oh, that's one. Yes. So next is just wait. Because I know a lot of, some people might not be able to do that. Please feel free to do that. Yeah, understood. Sorry? Oh, that's wonderful. You have to you install and run it. Wonderful. That's great. That's excellent. So the first React project is up and running.
This one, just like videos about. It's not like these.
Yeah, it's never happened before.
Maybe I should change the switch command. I haven't seen the videos.
You use Git bash.
Yeah, I use Git batch.
That should show the framework by the way, right? That should show the framework. And verify that. No. You don't need to suppose that. You just follow the instructions for scaffolding. Forget about it, right?
So first of all,
No, you don't need to make a scaffolding folder. Just follow the instructions. Scaffolding and just make it a folder. You will need Week9 folder and show that. It should be right. Don't worry about it. So you are in right now Week9, whatever. So you open your terminal window. Yes, no, sorry, I'm good. Okay, get your answer right. It's a thing. No, it's you are in Week9, wonderful. Now you just need to follow and create at latest, the statement. Yeah, and here if you create a project, the project name will be after that, create at latest. And you write a step person. Go your, open your PowerPoint, the PowerPoint that I shared. Second PowerPoint that I shared. So here, if you go on, so it's CD, we are in NPM, we get feature first dash. So you just write first dash and hit enter. That's the name of the application then. And this first dash app folder will automatically create. Don't worry. All that it means. So just run that. Anyone else get that? Are you able to follow? You did not have launches. So you have to put this right on.
No, let's see.
No problem. We got the alerts. I'll screw with this. Yeah, sorry. See now, go to the terminal. You. We are doing 5 minutes. We are going to get that in our. Oh, you want to JavaScript, not JavaScript folder. At the right folder, create folder. Now we have to run the file for yourself. Create, place, at latest, latest. We have to do this, both service. You turn first dash. Any folder, like I'm going to have the dash. Write these commands. You have to also follow that, right? So you see that you have the same problem as here. You don't have node install. Can you write node that's what you like node space dash version. Enter. It's not that node install. Go to the website, node download, node.js download. Why did you guys do that? I asked everyone to install that. Did you install Node.js in the very beginning of the class when you were installing the different things? Yeah, so just download that and SGS that. So after that, you have to follow those instructions, right? NPM. Wonderful, yes. Because it's asking Vite has to be installed. So if it asks for the Vite installation, do yes, right? Yeah. I'm just. You got it. Now you get the framework. Select React from that. Then JavaScript will come. Then the language will come. You have to select the JavaScript. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. So, you have to set your execution points. Export the PowerShell, the administrative mode, PowerShell. PowerShell. No, yeah, now just do that. Write down the command that setting execution policy or PowerShell. How to give you execution is this one is the one I should participate in most time. With 2 others. I know. For these skills, you both sides. Yes. It's where now you go back to your down here. No, this one. You trust on the feedback. Then you can speak it down. Yeah, go ahead. I can have just be there. Where are the options? Okay, so go back to the past. Is it oh, yeah, yeah. Yes. Great. This, because we have to install Vite first of all. Next, select React. The views. And then now you have to select JavaScript for your name. As always, now you have to do the first step, you have to go into the first step, you should create it and do npm install that. And I'll talk about that. All right, so a lot of people have tried and they are successful, but if you are having problem, I will very quickly just go through the process again. You have seen the video and you have just tried that one out. Now see here, I'll just make it bigger. Now see here, I will go, first of all, this project is, we'll consider it is done. Now we will just come here and I will go to the terminal. First of all, I'll open my terminal. And look at that, in terminal, make sure that you are at the right place. So I'll go into CD section 1 and CD week 9. Make sense, everyone? You have to be in the right folder. I'm in the week 9 folder. Make sense? Now, everyone, please, those who are having a little problem, just follow me along. Now, I would write npm create Vite at latest first dash app. Now, everyone, please write this command and hit enter. npm create Vite at latest first dash app. Hit enter. You will see now it will ask, it might ask you a question. We want to create Vite. It might install create Vite for you. Do yes if that happens, because I already have Vite installed, so that's why it's not asking. Now, from this framework, I have to select what? React. So go down and select React. Hit enter. Now it will ask about the variant, which variant, and right now we are just using JavaScript. So go to JavaScript, hit enter, done. Our project is almost ready. But there are some important things remaining. First of all, I'll talk about them and then I will make you understand that. Look at that. Do you see that all of you have got a folder now here, first dash app, in your folder structure, first dash app? Now let's open this and see that. This is interesting. If I open that, this is open up. Now you look at that. This is a folder ready. Now, do you see that someone is speaking in between? I don't know. So what it's saying, it's telling you the steps by itself. The first step should be cd first dash app, right? So now I will run that. cd first dash app. And this is very important. I have to go first of all into the application that I've created. You know what I've done? I have gone into the folder first app, because you need to go into folder to work anything. Make sense? First step. So I'm inside first step. Next is npm install. I want you to keep your folder open and do this npm install. This is very important step. npm install. Look at that. It will just run a lots of commands, but it will do a little popping up over here. Let's see. It takes a little bit of time. And believe you me, I've discussed that on the video. Previously, we used to create applications, create React app. It was very slow. It used to take around 1 minute in my machine, 1 or 1.5 minutes to make the project, But now it's very fast. I will say very, very fast. Now see here. So you see something here. Node modules is added over here. It's actually all the libraries and all the files that are required to run my project. Are you guys getting that one? So what Vite has done a very interesting stuff. When it creates the project, it does not bring the environment, the modules that are required to run your. It says if you need them, you just do npm install and those will come in the node modules. Are you guys getting that one? About node modules, I will be saying a very important term, important thing. that will affect your grade. But just be very clear. I'll talk about this node module. But anyhow, when I said npm install, it has created node modules. Everyone can see that? Node modules should be there. You are not seeing that? Okay, wonderful. Now, next step, what is asking? It was saying npm run dev. Remember? npm run dev. Just run that one. And you would find that now your project should be started on a typical port, which will be 5173 to start with. So it starts first time, and it says that your application is served at localhost 5173. How many of you see this message? Everyone? Wonderful. Those who were unable to do that before. You see that message? Now, control or command, click on that one and you can click on this one. Control click or command click. You should see this project running in your machines, everyone. Do you see that? Okay. You already was. I'll talk about some of the wonderful. Now you have to click on this 5173. Click command. Yes, that's what your project is. Yes. Project is okay. Open power shell. Right power shell is reduced your
Yeah, I know you just.
Yes, right.
And that's okay. That fall. There's no dice on that. It's like there's another thing called it's not diet, but
I've been doing that.
that's
That execution policy.
it's like execution. Calculate what's I've done
Just
yeah, mine was so bad. I'm like, oh my god, they go check to like your stuff. So like, okay, like that.
Here's the best. Wonderful. Yes.
Not really. Yeah, but it's like installed.
How was that connection? And here, it's supposed to be the L6. The arrow.
Yeah. You know, basically,
And you get that.
give birth there, like, that her voice.
Really well, bro. I'm just saying, I just keep your say something. Yes. JavaScript performance. Their project is very. It's also one for just write that. You have to strength of. You are inside first step, right? Now you have to run it.
It's the fault again.
Look at that. It's still the second command is everything, right? And you for. They will install, you just have that, the load modules folder.
Yeah, I started learning a couple of little things. Yeah, I'm feeling. I'm sorry. Besides this, I don't, I got a lot of, but. Just talk to me. That's what I'm doing.
Amjad, he said he saw a t-shirt, he saw T-shirt online. And like, I'm like, he's like, I'm working vocal, right? He saw T-shirts online. He said, yeah, you should start laughing. Shit, what I did. Online?
What's that? Low key wanna play the new act. You wanna run? Leave on this. I don't know, I'm feeling tempted.
I want to make it up.
Right, is your part. One right, is your part.
Okay, so now most of you have this project running for you now. Let's take a break now, and after the break we'll come back and we'll just continue with that one, right? So let's take a break.
Type-C charger for laptop. My laptop is dying.
It's there. I think he has the Type-C charger. This guy with the white shirt. So can you ask him because he shared that.
So I get like overwhelmed. I'm like, what if this outcome is this? Like, I don't know. I can. Nah, I'm gonna get back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm starting telling like I already started studying statistics before we get go.
Yeah, well, I might leave right now. Yeah, I guess I'll play one, just yank and just. Like, before even passing, I might still. Oh, it's a boring day, bro. Oh, it is. You love it? Oh my God. You don't have one card now? Why not?
I thought how we're gonna be in the game last.
You don't bring that? You just bring it to like, oh yeah, you don't take the bus, right?
Yeah, no.
That's it.
And the dude that
Yeah, Maxi? Alright.
but he uses one card for me.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, he like you see
He's a real one.
Just like use the card and like put it there.
Alright.
I feel like
If you attend math though, just let me know what you watch the game.
Alright, like it's been 2 weeks ago. I was thinking.
5. I love it. Yaksha and the other guys. They're not going to be there.
Why is everyone speaking?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
The others? Yeah, very nice. I'm going to cycle. You got a cycle? You have a cycle? Yeah, I bought a cycle.
You should play basketball.
Let's go. How's it?
Yeah, you should play basketball.
How long are you gonna cycle? What's the route? I will cycle. Oh.
Yeah.
I've never been to fall camp, but 40 km. It's not too far.
Oh my god, the summertime when I started playing basketball, bro, it's all about. Because when I play basketball, I play for like 5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah.
I know you're like that. You're a nerd. Oh.
Like it's like these Filipino people, when it comes to basketball, there's like the old child people are that role wrestling. This guy's 40 years old, bro, like this community. Yeah, they used to use our fight fee.
I see tomorrow. I know. Take it easy, man. See you.
I will.
Oh, stop everything. Now there, people always keep stop everything and Ubers.
I'm not bad back.
Let's go. I will something from CXI.
It's been a while. I don't know why. But 5 minutes.
Okay, stop everything. It's not a very good thought. See this?
After tariff happened, it went down $800. So anything that was up profit from after Donald Trump got elected. Yeah. So people lost money.
बस वाले लोग सेम देखो सेम जिधर से डाल गांडा भी
ये रेफरेंस है लगा दे
हमारा जंगली नहीं यार नहीं वर्ते वो मने से रिजेक्ट नहीं किया है चलो अब मैं डाल के स्पेशल नहीं पढ़े
ये डाउनलोड करना है
या मैं मतलब गेम खेलने जा रहा हूँ तो घर से नहीं आ रहा क्या नहीं आ रहा आता है हमारे आ रहा है पढ़ा लेकिन मुझे मूड नहीं है नेक्स्ट दिमाग इस बार पूरा कितना है कितना इसके 84 82 टाइम
कर सकते
के बारे में मिलता है
ये क्या है मुझे जाओ इधर जाओ पावर शेल को खुला कर सकते पावर शेल विंडोज इसमें अरे आप याद नहीं है कि 30 में करवाना है जो आते हैं ये अभी समझ आया आपको इधर देख भाई ये है
स्क्रीन
पीछे
Hey, you don't know the
Oh, yeah.
How stuff, right? Yeah.
तेरा power. अभी क्या करती है?
Oh, yeah.
पता नहीं मुझे मेरे यहाँ से
Jojo.
Yeah, why can't we get close to it?
Now I wanna go near you.
You forget? Listen to this evening, I get for that. I signed up. But I was like, one giveaway. You can't think of I'll be right back. How long's that break? I won't be long. Oh, boy.
बैग ना तो उधर क्या करेंगे?
Yeah, because I stay, I'll have no food, no sleep.
Be quiet, be quiet, don't talk.
I'm gonna work out, like, I'm gonna do like push-ups and then, I'm ready. But if I can, like, I'm falling. I gotta start doing more. Everything else, like,
ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಾಸ ಶಾಲೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು
First, it's going to be out.
you know why I'm getting comes, but you know why I'm getting after it? Yeah, but. He's not on my, so he said, what is it? He said, that's not an excuse, and I know. It's around the recipe on the best day, so far. Dani, eu vi that. That's what I'm doing. I think that
Saran, did you find the charger? Did you find the charger? Charger? Sorry? Oh, oh, someone else is looking. Okay. But again, you know, it's because my laptop is all charged. I can share this with you. Okay, you can try with him. Who's looking for that?
Because he's living in the residential.
Oh, he's got a home.
Yeah. Yeah, they go to home to take the charger. Yeah. Maybe because the residence is just 1 meter.
Right.
Yeah, poker finance.
All right. So, yeah. Meeting is still going on. That's interesting. We have. All right. All right, so let's discuss about this project which we have created. Now, there are very few interesting, important stuff that we need to discuss before we start any folder structure or anything inside that. And that is, as I told you, that is one announcement that I would like to make here for everyone. And I want you to really listen to this announcement because that will affect your grade a lot of. So I'll discuss it over here. Whenever you have to send your React project to me, just take my words. Whenever you have to send this React project to me, you will always send in a way that there should be no node modules folder inside that folder. Does that make sense? I'll explain that. So how would you send me the project? For example, we have created the project, you worked in it, you have made everything, ready. When your project is ready, right now this project is running. You see that? It's running. I see that local 1.5. If you want to stop this project from running, you hit Control C. The project stops. Control C. The project terminates. And now my project is not running anymore. Make sense, everyone? Your next step, you are done with the project and you want to send it to me, your assignment, project, whatever. Now you will come here and you will do right click and delete. Yes, move to recycle bin. Good. Now, actually, your project is no more runnable right now. And you know why? Because the node module has gone. And node module is just like the brain, which files are required, which dependencies are required. They were installed. Now your project's brain is gone, but it's good. What you have to do, now this first tab folder, you will zip it and you will send it to me. So first announcement, again, I'm just making a clear announcement. whenever you send me a project, whenever you send me your in class, whenever you send me your assignment, whenever if you are sending me some final paper, it's also a React project. If never send this node modules folder with that project. Now, if you send if you send your project node modules folder, what will happen? The replication. You will get 50% grades will be just deducted at that point. 50%. Believe you me. You might be thinking I'm joking. It's really a pain. Why I'm telling you now the reason. In this folder, the biggest folder, the huge, largest folder is node modules, which I have deleted. When, for example, there are 35 odd people here, 35 odd people in the other side. If all 70 people will send me a project with node modules, first of all, it will take ages for you to zip them because it has node modules folder. You understand? Node module folder is the biggest one. Okay, you are the individual and you will zip it maybe in a few minutes and your system is very good. And all 70 people send me their React projects. And all those projects have their node modules folder inside that. It will take for me ages to download that projects. Are you guys getting that one? So, word of advice. But will you guys remember that one? Because I need that people send it. Because I will just first of all look, I cannot look by when this zip, when I start unzipping and I find out that it's taking ages and ages, I understand, okay, someone has sent me node modules folder. So this is, if I find node modules folder, I will not waste my time. I'll just first of all write down, again, if it was a 10, I'll say 5 out of 10. And then I'll read from the project, and then from rest of the 5 you will get anything. Get it? And I'll do that. Now, you might be thinking, how this project will run on my side now? Can someone tell me how it will run on my side now? Because you have sent me this folder. It does not have node modules. And I want to run it on my machine. Can you help me out? How would I run that? I'll go here in the folder and I will run npm install. You guys get it? Now, it's the same that you have to do if I send you the project. I will never send you the project with node modules. I will always send you without them. So I send you a project and I said, this is a project 1 and it's a React project. Go and run that project. So you will get it and you will say, okay, there is no node modules folder. What should I do? You will go inside that folder like I am in first step right now. This window is hiding that. So in your first step, you are there. You run, see here. And please don't do this and just look at that. No, man, you are not looking here. You're not listening to me. It will be a problem for you, man. Now, listen. So you will come here. When I send you the project, you will come here and you'll write npm install. Look at that, what happens. This npm install actually does lots of things. One of the interesting thing is that it creates this Node.js, node modules folder over here. Do you see that? So I'm repeating my words. I'm repeating my words for those who have just come. Whenever you are sending me the project, be it your in-class, be it your assignment, be it your exam, whatever. Always, before sending this folder, you have to delete node modules folder from this one. Will you guys remember that one? And I told you, I'll announce that formally as well. If ever I'll find node modules in your React project, when you send it to me, you'll lose 50% of your grade at then and there. I don't know how good project is that. I would say it's a 50% project. If it was 10 grades, you'll get 5 out of 5, whatever you will get. Make sense? I really mean it, and I'll do it with our first unclass so that you get used to it. So now, you know why I'm saying, because node modules, if I want to produce it, I will just run this command npm install and I will get that back. Now, will that happen same with you guys as well? Yes. If I send you a project, that this is a React project, it's a practice project, for example. You get that project. Always you will find that project does not have node modules in fact. So you will say, okay, what should I do? I cannot run that. But you know what you will do? You will go into that folder and you will run what? npm install and you will get your project. You'll get your node modules inside that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
For example, we have our in-class. For example, we have our
This is the in-class project, right? Right.
in the week 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have to submit that first step, not that week.
Of course, not week 9, of course. You will be sent, for example, this is in class. Say it's in class 3, for example. And you send this project, you will delete this from this one, and you will say, okay, this is my in-class zip together, and this is my project. Now, this is the half a story. I'll tell you the rest of the story. Half a story is that if you ever send me node modules folder, you will get 50% mark deducted in your assignment grade, whatever. The rest of the 50% will also go away if you don't send me something. And you know what is that? It is that package.json file. So just as I'm emphasizing never send node modules, I'm emphasizing always send package.json. And you know why you will understand that. Actually, this npm install that we run, actually it goes to this file and reads out what is needed and it creates this node modules. So, so do you think that you will get, you will lose your 100% marks if you send me node modules and don't send me package.json? Either way around. You get what I'm saying? It's say like I send you a project and I take out the package.json from this one. You will never be able to run my project. Are you guys getting that one? Why? Because package.json is the configuration file that actually installs or prepares the node modules folder for me. Are you guys getting that one? When I run npm install actually comes here and contacts package.json and ask, okay, what is needed? I'll show you package.json. And I want you to just focus right now as you are focusing, just look at that. And we'll talk about this package log as well later on, what is log.json. Look at that. This package.json contains some really useful information. Look at that. What's that? What is the name of the project? Highway, version, etc. What are the scripts? Do you see dev? Does anyone recognize this script? We are running this script to run our project. npm run dev. You remember npm run dev. It's the last command that we use. Actually, that dev is defined over here. And this dev is actually runs Week. The script actually this runs Week. And yeah, we'll talk about that. Then you say the dependencies, React 19, React DOM 19. We don't know too much about that React's latest version. So whenever I run npm install, actually npm install comes to this file and start talking about it. It says, okay, which version of React I want to install, which version of dependencies, which is linked, React, etc., etc., etc. Does this story sound familiar to everyone? Should I tell the story again? I'm starting the story again. Whenever you send your React project to me, delete this node modules folder first and then zip this folder. If I find your node modules folder inside that, even I can install, I can download that. I'll do that ultimately. But do you understand what will happen? If I see node modules already there, you will lose 50% of your grade. You know, it's interesting part. And rest of the 50% will also go away if I don't find what? Is it enough emphasizing? Because you get, frustrated by looking at this. But, I really, you can understand my frustration. 70 people have sent a project and I have to download that. I have to check that. And, I'm trying to download and everyone has node modules inside. Do you know what I mean? It will take maybe, sometimes, not right now. Sometimes I just felt that before. Like students, they will never care about it because they never care. They just want to throw some garbage out to you. Look at that. And, what I say after your exam, our exam starts. Right after your exam, our exam starts. Because of course, so student will, will never care about it. Then they'll just have not modules and they'll send it through it to you. So should I expect at least those people sitting over here? I will never see your submissions without package.json and with node modules. Make sense? And again, for those who have just come, I tell you, it's very easy. When you are done with your project, you are done your work, everything is done. You just come to this project here, or maybe in the folder structure, you go there and you say delete and move to recycle bin. I'll show that. And what happens with that one? What happens is that now, if I want to run this project, can I run this project now? Anyone? No. npm, let's try that. npm run dev. It is just going somewhere else, but no worries. You see, I just tried to run that command. It's very somewhere. Looks like it is also submitting node modules. But look at that. It says, I don't find this read command. What is this? Because, actually the brain is missing. My project's brain is missing. Why? Because there is no what? And again, I would expect to see your project like this. Because what I have to do then, I have to just run one command and I will get back everything. And what is that command? All of you know. The command is npm install. And now, first of all, it will run and I will see a change here. Because my first step will get a node modules folder, which is the brain of my project. Now see here, it's installing. Installation done, hopefully. See, node modules is already here, popped up. Now if I run npm run dev, look at that. Will my project now run? Yes. Make sense, everyone? So your folder should always have one package.json but your folder should never have node modules. I hope that you will remember that. Because after saying that, how many of you know what is Git and GitHub? With the raise of hand. You know Git and GitHub? Wonderful. Most of you will be using. Last semester also you were there was supposed that you had published your website on Netlify. For that you had to create a GitHub account also. You remember everyone? Okay, I'll talk about that. You know Git. First question. It's not part of my lecture, but I always do that. I did that in the last class because I want you guys to know that. GitHub, both are same or different? Different. What is the, do you know? Git and GitHub, are they different or the same? No. They're different. What is the difference? With the name Git and GitHub. Yeah. I'll come to you.
I think which are websites.
Okay. And Git? Okay, we'll talk about it. Yes.
GitHub is an advanced feature, is an advanced application of the Git.
Git, wonderful. He says that GitHub is an advanced application of GitHub. What do you think? What do you say? Git and GitHub.
It's a version control system.
Listen to this one. This is very important. I think the first correct answer. Yeah.
And GitHub, it's a web server where you can store your versions.
That's a very good point. And I would explain that to you guys. And please listen to this. Again, it's not part of my job to discuss that, but I want you to understand that one. He has given the right definition. Git is a versioning software. Versions, you want to maintain the versions of our software. But Git is actually installed in our machine and it keeps all the versions of my code in my machine. Make sense? So let's go back to the previous. Git and GitHub are very different. First of all, Git is a software that we install in our machine and it keeps my codes, all versions in my machine. Make sense? Now I want to share these versions of code with you, or you want to share this version of code with your group members. You will say, I cannot share this Git code directly because Git resides in where? In my machine. Are you guys getting that one? Then you will need something online, online server. You say, okay, I want to take this Git data on my web server where I want you to look at this code. So what should I use? There are different options for that. We don't hear those options. That's why we don't know. So one of the options is GitHub. Make sense, everyone? GitHub is a software, online application, a website. It's a website, web server. That does what? That gets connected with my Git. Whatever I have on my machine also goes to the GitHub. Are you guys getting that? Hub. It's a hub. GitHub software. There is GitLab as well. There are lots of other. We don't use them. So actually, we write. Are you listening to me? I want you to just go to machine, but later on. Whenever you do your code, you write your code in your machine, you are maintaining Git versions of your software. But once you are satisfied or not satisfied, you want to share it with me. And you say that I am uploading that. I am pushing that on my GitHub repository, online repository. So if you want to see my code, go to the repository and see that code. Does that make sense to you? Now listen, this is very important. I just talked about the importance or the non-importance of node modules. I said never send it to me. Even when we actually push our contents on either Git or GitHub or any online system, even Git ignores our node modules folder. That's why I told you all this story. You know why? And how do you know? Do you see a file .gitignore? Everyone sees that gitignore file? And you see React project already comes up with this one. This is very interesting. Do you see line number 10? What is this? Git ignore. Git ignore. Can you sense what it means? It means ignore these things when you are pushing your data. Not only to my machine, not even to GitHub. Never push this data. So in this never push list, what is the name? Do you guys now understand the importance of not sending node modules? Even GitHub says that Git says that I don't want to store that. Why? Because it's so big. Why should I store that? If I have 100 projects, 100 times node modules will be copied to me. I don't want that. So I will take your project without node modules. Whenever you take this back project, you just do npm install and you'll get your node modules into that. I told you this story just for this very reason. And now I will show you a practical thing over here. I have a GitHub repository, which I use for my projects, my code mostly. I'll show you. And one of them I'll show you just right now. So look at that. This is my GitHub repository. I have all the code here. And I'll show you something very interesting. I'll show you. Here is my first app, I made for someone else. Now look at that. If I open that first app folder, do you see node modules here? Why? Because it had already ignored that. So when I pushed my data into this one, there was no node modules. So should I expect that you will never send me node modules? So you were not there, you'll lose your 50% time. And if you don't send me package.json, you will lose the rest of the 50%. I'll be very happy. I will not have to spend my time on your project. Yeah.
Can you the packet.json to get?
Sorry?
Can you use packet.json to get packet?
But that's what we are saying. When we run npm install, we actually go and read the package.json, whatever is required, it install that and make some node modules for that. That's what we have discussed. Is that making sense? Was that worth spending some minutes on this discussion? It's all basic. We have not started React as yet, but do you guys understand what we are doing? Node modules is a very important folder that you never send to me. You know what I say? It's a very important, and by the way, it's just like the brain of our project. If it is not there, I won't be able to run your project. But you know that I don't need it from you. I will produce it for myself. I don't need it from you. Make sense, everyone? Wonderful. So I showed you GitHub repository. So this is very important. When you have a GitHub repository, you can just always come here and just get the code, and you have all the code in your machines and everything. Okay, now let's come back. Fun stuff. So git ignore. Do you understand this git ignore file? Why it is there? So React says I am taking care of your data and I'm taking care of the git. So I will ignore all those fatty things that will just come and occupy the space at my place. So I'll just take them away. Okay. So now let's talk about this React project. Very important. Let's talk about first of all index.html. Anyone remembers SPA? We discussed today. SPA Spark. Single page application. Did I say that React actually creates single page application? This is the single page that runs when our application runs. Now I've started talking about the ecosystem of React, and this is very important. I want you to understand. When we run a React project, the file that you see running, if I show that to you, this is actually index.html running over. Do you guys remember that one? So index.html is that SPA, single page application, single page that runs when we run our React application. Do you guys remember this first point? I'm about to come to the second point. This is first point. Now the second point. Second point. Interestingly, when I open this index, I want to convince myself. I'm not convinced that this is the index.html. Why? Because I don't see anything over here. Where is that code is coming from? And everything. It is not here. So I want to convince myself. I'll show you something very interesting. If I just come here and I put it on the side, I put my project on the side, and I have a title over here, Vite plus React. Can I come here and I write my name and I hit save? Share screen, but can you see that my last name here? So are we convinced that yes, this page is ready? Because I have changed the title and the title appears. Make sense, everyone? But then let's think about it. Where is this all data? It just says one divide is equal to root and nothing else. It says one script is equal to type is equal to module or something, nothing else. So is it making sense for everyone? Somehow this data is coming over here in the div ID is equal to root and it is running over here. We'll find out. We'll together find out where it is. But is it making sense to everyone? That this file just have a div with ID is equal to root, nothing else. Now, it basically links to a script. Did we used to link our script as well? Yes. Script. I talk about this type is equal to module separately. Forget about right now, just understand type is equal to module is something. We'll talk about it. SRC is equal to SRC / main.jsx. Source is equal to source / main.jsx. So this index.html is linking a script, and this script is main.jsx. Are you guys getting that one? Where is that? It is actually in SRC. Now, let's go to our folder structure and open this SRC. SRC, inside that I say main.jsx. Can you all see this main.jsx? Everyone? Now I want a little simplicity before we, because you know it's a little bit complex. Can you guys do one thing with me? This strict mode here and here. I want to remove these two lines, not the app line, just two lines. I remove this strict mode and I remove this strict mode, just like that. And your code will, okay, I just removed something. So your code will look like this now. Everyone, please, can you do that just for the simplicity purpose? Because I want to talk about this one. Okay.
These five in these index not HTML and these. If we are submitting only the first layer, the files which we create before that are not included in the first. It's a process like told us, we just have did the first air point, first air point. Not the whole week, he just told us the first air. Only the first air. Only the first, but the file which we created before. I'm not included in the
Now see here, this main.jsx is doing something interesting, very fun stuff. Look at that, what it is doing. It is calling something called create root, a method, and it is accessing document.get element by ID root. Can someone tell me where is this document.get element by ID root? In index.html, with which it is connecting, with which it is linked. Make sense? So it accesses that area and renders there something called an app. I don't know what is app, but do you understand this much? This script is doing what? It is calling a method create root. It is creating a root element by going into index.html, accessing a particular area, and over there it is rendering something called an app. Do you guys understand that one? For here, I feel a little bit of whiteboard usage, and you'll understand that one very clearly. So what I'm saying, when I run index.html, it is actually linking a script here. That script is main.jsx, right? And what main.jsx is doing, it is going to this index.html, finding the root area, like div root, and there it is rendering what something called an app over here. Does that make sense to everyone? I'm just trying to make a some diagram over here as well. Is that making sense? So it is creating a root element by going into the index.html and rendering the app over there. What is this app? I talk about that. What is this app now? This app is actually a component in React. Do you guys remember? React is a component-based architecture. This is the first and most important component that actually is being rendered here, that is running over here. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, where is this app component? I have to find that. Look at that. I will have to go line number 4 and I'll find that. Import app from app.js. It is in the same root folder, /. Same root. Same root means their main.jsx is. Let's open that. Do you see app.jsx, everyone? Open that one. So now, ultimately, we have reached to a place which was actually running when our code was running. Make sense, everyone? When our code was running, it was actually running. Now, this app component, and I talk about app component in very much detail, but I want to convince myself that this app component is running. So can you scroll down in this app component for a little bit? And here, where it is mentioning, look at that, where it is mentioning, if I just come here, over here, edit, code, src, I'll just select this one. I remove this and I write my first React application. Now see that, and I hit save. Do you guys see the change? Yes. Are we convinced that this app is running actually over there? because I can see that when I'm making a change here, it really changes it over here. Now, if I just again go to whiteboard for a second and I show you something interesting. So now, if you look at that, main.jsx actually renders this app. And what is this app? App is a component in React that, or I should say main component in React that actually runs when the page runs. So now listen, I'll talk about this ecosystem again. When I run a React application, index.html runs. Everyone agrees? Index.html connects itself with a script which is called main.jsx. Main.jsx does what? Comes back to index.html, accesses the root area, divide is equal to root, accesses the root area, brings an app component from outside and start rendering it over there. Are you guys getting that one? So should I say, allow me to say, main.jsx is behaving like a middleman between app and the index.html. Does that make sense to everyone? Main.jsx is actually acting as a middleman between the app.jsx and the index.html. Make sense, everyone? Now, let's talk about it. This is the component I told you. All components in React, they are functions. They are what? There are class components as well that I'm not discussing. So just a disclaimer, someone will look at that and they said, I thought that all components are functions. No, there are certain functions which are classes as well. But remember, we are discussing only function component. Now see here, all components are function component, or all the functions in React. And you know, now what I'll do, just see that what I'm doing. Other than this empty brackets, I'm deleting everything from here. I've deleted everything. Look at that. And before I hit save, I'll just come here and I write H1, my first app. And I hit save now. Did you guys see that? Everything is gone. And just I see an H1 with my first app. Everyone sees that? Are you guys following me? Okay, wonderful. So now this is my first app and this is just running over here. So now I just repeat for a purpose. Whenever you're in React application, index.html runs, it has a script attached, main.jsx. Main.jsx actually goes and accesses the div ID is equal to root, brings the app component from somewhere and plugs it the apps component over there. And thus my application runs over here. Does that story make sense to all of you? Right? Now, what is this app component and what are the components? I would like to talk about them, but for that, I will show you these slides. So, right. And you know, I'll come back to this slide, JSX. I have not discussed JSX. So what is that? Setting up React project. We have set up the React project. This is a folder structure. I would like to little bit talk about this folder. We will save our all components in SRC as app is also in SRC. Did you see that? App is also in SRC. Public is for static files, you know, my images, pictures, and everything. I'll just go that. But it's not the end of the world. What is that? It's the start. Look at that. Package.json. You guys remember what I said about package.json? Configuration file which holds all the important information about our project, what to install and to make it run on the other side of the purpose. Make sense, everyone? And if I ask you, what command activates package.json? npm install. Remember npm install? It goes to package.json, read that. Okay, last but not least, node module. Collection of all the libraries, etc. environment required to run the project. All important node modules folder that you will never send to me, right? So this is node modules folder. Understood, everyone? It is just the written description of few things. Now, here is, yeah.
Have other files, which we could just put on an SSC.
Wonderful. If we have other components, of course, we will have multiple components. So for that, what we do in SRC, what I will do, I will create a folder components and I'll store all those components over there.
This folder on the SSC.
Yeah, I can make that, or I can just write components on the SRC as well. No worries. But you know, just to manage my work, I will have a components folder.
Yeah.
Make sense? Do I need to read this or not? I will not read. I hate to read this. You guys read that and let's go to the next slide, right? I hate to read this. Now let's explore about the folder structure. Index.html SPA. Remember single page application. It just contains a div with ID is equal to root. Is that something we have already discussed? I'm just showing you that. That accesses the ID. So there is a main dot. So it used to be index.js before. You know, I've just shown if you look at the code, someone has created with create React app. There is another thing. We are using Week to create a React project. But if someone has used that one, they will have index. But now we have main.jsx. Main.js is all important middleman that accesses the ID root div from index.html and runs the app.js over there. Make sense, everyone? Now come here. App.js or app.jsx, the component that index.js or main.js runs inside the index.html. Is it confusing or all clear now? I just find this confusing. Is it clear now? The architecture of the React application. Someone might have this question in their mind, and I can read that. Someone will think, why we are doing so much complexity, going here, there, here, there. Why not just take directly script? Is that the question in your mind? I could read your mind. Right now, just understand it's an ecosystem of the React, but there is a whole lot of technical depth behind that. But right now, I will answer that. This was the question that you were about to ask. So I always ask myself, right? Because if you will ask, it will be difficult for me to answer. Anyway, so this is app.jsx. Now, let's come to the next one. What is app.jsx after all? It is the main component of React application. Make sense, everyone? This is the main component that runs when application runs. All React components are like functions. Now, here comes the concept. With the difference being the components return JSX. The components returns what? JSX. And a $1 million question here. What is JSX? Make sense, everyone? What is JSX? I'd like to talk about JSX. Now, let's first of all read that and then I'll show you practically. JSX is a combination of HTML, CSS, and JS. Interesting. JSX is a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, I will take back to the start of the class today when the room was locked. Rather, when the room got opened. Now, listen, what happened? I first discussed that when we have learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, why in the world we are learning React? Did we discuss that in the beginning? Now, again, replying to that question. HTML, JavaScript, and CSS are the basis for JSX. If someone does not know HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, they will find it very difficult to work in React. So actually what we were doing before that, we were trying to make our base to come to React. Are you guys getting that one? And why? Because we had to deal with this JSX. And what is JSX? Combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Come on. And I talk about this one. I'll just talk about this one. Now look at that. I have already worked with this JSX and you guys have also done that. Do you see that every function component, every component in React actually returns every component in React actually returns something which is called JSX. It is called what? JS. You would say that I can see HTML here, but there is no CSS or but there is no there is no JavaScript here. Do you see that? You don't see any JavaScript per se, but I will convince you. First of all, do you see the HTML over here? At least we are convinced HTML is there. Now, if I want to use a CSS, so I would say to you that, for example, I have a paragraph here, and this is a paragraph. Now, I would attach a style class with this. Class is equal to demo. Remember, I used to create a demo class. I want to attach a CSS style class. You'll be thinking, where is the CSS class? Right now, I want to just keep the complexity a little simple. So I just come here and I define, you know what I mean? Demo. Do you guys understand that one? What I'm saying? I've just created a class because you are familiar with this styling, even though I'll tell you where this style is coming from. But right now, just understand, I have a demo class. Look at that. I have defined this class is equal to demo. Everyone agrees? And do you remember? Do you remember? HTML never minds if you write e class is equal to demo. But do you remember? JavaScript actually minds it by using the class word. What JavaScript says we should use. Anyone remembers? Because class is a reserved word in JavaScript. And JavaScript says never use class, use class name. Remember class name? And I'll show you something very interesting. If I go to this code here and I go to console, you see a complaint here. What is the complaint? It says invalid DOM property class. Did you mean class name? Now, this lights up a bulb in our mind. Actually, what I'm writing over here is not core HTML or CSS. It looks like it's a JavaScript. Are you guys getting that one? What I'm saying? It's actually the JavaScript. That's why it is complaining. If it was core HTML, remember we used to write in the backticks class and it never mind. It says, okay, it's HTML. So first point, do you guys understand that this is not core HTML or CSS? It is actually the JavaScript, JSX. You remember it is what? It is actually JSX. So look at that, it is complaining. Now, if I make its complaint away, if I just come here and I say class name is equal to demo, and if I just clean that and I clear that, do you see the complaint is gone? So, do you guys understand? Actually, I'm not writing normal CSS or normal HTML. Rather, I'm writing what? JSX, not JavaScript. I'm writing JSX. Are you guys getting that one? Which is ultimately a combination of, both all those things. Now you say, okay, I'm convinced HTML is written. I'm convinced CSS is written somehow. I'm not convinced there's no JavaScript here, direct JavaScript. So now here comes the direct JavaScript. If I come here and I put another P and I put curly brackets and I say 3 plus 2. Look at that. And I will close this. I say 3 plus 2 and I hit save. I'm writing JavaScript as well over here. 3 plus 2. And this expression box, you can write literally any JavaScript into this one. You guys get it? You remember 3 plus 2, we can write in REPL. We can go and 3 plus 2, it says 5. As we do in the Python as well, So this is now are you convinced a little bit? This is HTML. This is somehow CSS. And this is what? JSX is actually combination of these three. Technically speaking, it's all JavaScript. But you understand, we introduce HTML into that one. And we introduce CSS into that one. And this amalgamation is called what? The JSX. JSX. Should we go back to the slides and I show you something? Now you'll understand that. This curly brackets JavaScript expression box where we can write literally any JavaScript. Did you see 3 plus 2 right just now? I'll show you some more examples, but let's go. So as mentioned, every component returns JSX that is boiled down to HTML when it goes to index. This is a very interesting point. This is a very interesting point. I want to show you something. I have written down JSX in the component and you have agreed that this is JSX. But there is a very interesting fact. Let me show you the code generated here. Let me show, I'll make it bigger. Let me show you the code generated over here. Divide is equal to root. Remember this divide is equal to root is coming from where? Index.html, remember? Divide is equal to root. Remember everyone? It is in index. Now if I open this, do you see something very cool? There is no class name here. Why? It's HTML. It's not JavaScript anymore. It has boiled down to HTML actually. And look at that here. What is this? What is this? 5? Did I write 5 in my code? What did I write? Curly brackets 3 plus 2, which is JavaScript. So you guys understand actually when it comes and it is rendered here, it becomes all HTML. And it just produces the result and displays the result. Isn't that interesting? Now, just be here like that and I'll show you another very important, interesting example here. So I said I can write literally any JavaScript. What does that mean? I want to convince myself. Look at that. And I'll make it smaller and I'll close this one. And I want to show you something. So, I'm removing this line number 7 as well. I'll talk about this. This is a hook. I'll talk about that. But let's say, let my name is equal to Alan Smith. I've defined a variable after function, just variable declaration. Now come here. And I say here, instead of this, I say here, welcome space, and I say my name. And I would write some sign of exclamations over here. Now look at that. Do you guys see that? So much so that I'll just use the my name variable. Now, should we go and check the HTML where we'll find my name or there? No. There what we'll find? Do you know that what will be in the HTML? It will be Alan Smith and there will be no curly brackets. There will be no class name. Why? Because that is HTML. And now, if I just do another interesting thing, I can write any, I've talk about that. I can say to uppercase, the function that made your life so difficult before. Look at that. I can just write my name to uppercase. Isn't that literally whatever JavaScript I know I can just write it over here? Does it make sense? This is basically what we are talking about. This is called JSX, which every component actually returns. Everyone understand that one? Is this interesting or not? It's very much, it's React. We're just starting that. There are a whole lot to come. Now, the last thing I'll tell you that today, and then we'll just, wrap it up. Do you see that you would have never seen this type of syntax before? Now, I'll start discussion on that. I did not discuss it in the last section, but I'll talk about that. Whenever these empty brackets come, they are called React fragments. I talk about that a lot. What is React fragment? Actually, this is all JSX, this is all JSX. JSX has a rule. And what is that rule? I'll take away this JSX for the time being. I'll delete that. JSX has a rule. It can have just one root element. This is one. If I come here and I create another div, you see problems? Chaos here. Why this chaos? Do you guys understand that one? It says that this JSX should have one wrapper. There should be no two sibling elements. Are you guys getting that one? Now, what is the way I can handle that one? I can handle that one. One way is, there's one way. If I write div here and end this div here, will it become one wrapper? Of course, let's do that solution because I want to show you. Let's do that solution. I come here before this div and I write a div and I remove this ending of div over here and I come here and I write a div here. Are you guys understanding? This chaos should be gone now. Control S, everything is good. Looks good. You guys understand what I've done? I've made one wrapper around that. Is that making sense? Now I can have hundreds of siblings under that, but I have to have a one wrapper around it. Now here comes the fragments. If I use this div, if I use main, if I use section, if I use anything but this header, whatever, that will also be produced as a code in my HTML. How many of you are understanding the concept? Because this div will produce its own code. I'm also a div. So I will be there as well. Then this div will be there. And I just want these two divs to be there. I don't want this div to be there. You guys understand what I'm saying? Right now, when I run this file, you will see that. When I inspect the elements here, I find, let me just close that. I find out that div ID is going to, it's the index.html one. Now it has another div. Inside that, there are two divs. Are you guys getting that one? So, I want to avoid this div. I don't want any code to come on my siblings. You know what I mean? So one of the solution is that use what? Fragment. React fragment. And what is a fragment? See here, I'll keep it open. Fragment is, don't write div or anything, just write the tag sign, empty tag sign, hit save, and now look at that. Does it look like that I have, see here, very interesting thing. Does it look like that in my div ID root directly I have two siblings, which is not possible by the way. You remember? It is not possible because always a component says that the JSX should be wrapped in one wrapper. But I'm seeing two wrappers here or two divs over here. So do you know what I have done? I've used what? It's called fragments. So if I summarize that, fragment is something that does not produce its own code. Rather, it just does what? It just gives you like, the wrapper around the text. And you can have any number of siblings in that. Is that making sense to everyone? What is the time right now? Okay, we have some time and I can, I can just discuss one more thing over here. Did you guys understand everyone? Concept? So to end our class, I will just tell you how can we create our own component and use it. Now I want all of you to just maybe type this. For example, I'll not use again my name. So you remember we were just testing everything. So you can just do that one. Or I would now want you to just, do this with me in your app component. I'll just make it bigger. In your app component, what we want to do, let me just show you. Now, in my app component, I would like to just remove all these divs. And I would like to remove this Alan Smith because we will do this all this testing. So here I just want to write H1 main app component. Right. And if you see here, now my application will be running and just it has one thing, main app component. Everyone, please do that with me. And see here what I want to do. As I mentioned to, I think Wang, you were asking that short while ago. I'll go to my folder structure. In SRC, I'll create a new folder in SRC. And I will call this folder with small c components. I'm saying small c, usually folder names are small letters. Usually, but that's not always the case. But usually folder name should start with a capital letter, small letter, sorry. Components. Has everyone created that? In this components folder, I want to create a new file. And now see here is some changing coming up. I want to create about component. So I would write with capital, and please follow this as it is. It should be capital A about.js, about.js. Make sense? Folder name should be small letter. It can be bigger as well, but usually we use smaller. But this definitely should start with a capital letter, about.jsx. So you know what I'm doing? I'm trying to create new component for myself. And component name is what? About.jsx. Make sense, everyone? We are creating a new component. Now, about.jsx. Hit enter. File will be ready for us. Now I'll just make it bigger again so that I can show you something interesting. So now if I just make it, now we have got about.jsx file. Everyone has got that one? We are now working on the about.jsx. Now here, yes, I can repeat that. I first of all in SRC, I right click and created a new folder, and I named it components with a small c. Right, Kash? After that, in components, I have that right click and I have created a new file here, and I have named it with a capital A about.jsx. Everyone following that? Those who are typing with me? Now, let's come back here and let's do an interesting thing. In about, you remember they are all functions. So I'll write function about with capital O, capital A. Remember, because it was capital A, remember, capital A. So function about, and yes, I would like to write the return with the parenthesis. And in the return, I would like to write a fragment. And in that fragment, I would like to just write an H3 maybe, and I write about me. We are writing the component here. And believe you me, we won't be writing component by ourselves. There is a shortcut for that. But again, today we'll do that. Remember, for HTML also, first day I tried typing HTML by myself so that you know that, okay, what's going on behind the scenes. About me. Everyone has done that. There's one step remaining. There is one step remaining. I have created a function about. Whenever I will need that somewhere, I will import this about over there. And when I have to import this somewhere else, I need to export it from here. Are you guys getting that one? And now, I'm not talking any unfamiliar thing. Go to app.jsx. Do you see the last line? What is written? Export default app. So now, I will try to follow this same syntax. I'll say export default, and what's it? About. No function signs, parenthesis signs over here. Export default about. Yeah. Yeah, we can write that, but I'm just keeping it simple. I know you might have used the Redux extension and that was coming over there. Yes, we can do that. So he has asked the question. Do you want me to answer that? Yes, I will answer that maybe. So you can even do this one like this as export default. Are you guys getting that one? But I prefer to use it separately. You know what I mean? I just want to prefer it, and it's up to you. So I'll just define the function and I'll just export it separately. Are you getting that one? Because I want to keep little bit different, like, different, easy. Component is ready. And now we have to bring it into our app. Make sense? Now go to your app.jsx. First of all, go to line number 4 and hit enter, like line number 5. Write this command like this: import about from /components/about, no JSX, remember. Forget about the rest of line number 5. Import about from Dot component. And don't follow my dot components. You just write a dot and forward slash, you will get your folder name. You might have called it component, not components. You know what I mean? Wonderful. So it is imported, and we exported it from there. So we have imported it from here. It's imported. It's now ready. Now I'll just come here. After this H1, I will just write about in the tag sign. Same about in the tag sign. And before I hit save, I'll open that one. If I hit save, Control S, look at that. Did you guys understand that one? About component is now running here. Yeah. And do you know something very interesting? I can run it as many times as I want. Control C. I've gone mad, right? Actually what is happening? Again, the same way. Asynchronously, these all components are just coming from behind. It's not refreshing my page or anything. And which page is running right now? Index.html. And which component is running right now? App. And app is calling about. But remember this one thing. App is not calling this about 5, 6, 7 times. It is, technically speaking, it's only called once because it's a component. Remember the reusability? Are you guys getting that one? So if I write 1,000 times, actually in one go, all abouts will be downloaded. Or will be running. Remember that Udemy components, that all video lectures or video courses, they were coming from behind and they were updating. And they were they were just technically speaking one call and everything was coming from. So do you see that I have started a component? Make sense, everyone? We have got an about me component. I can call it any number of times. Of course, that does not look very good or practical to call it so many times. But if I just come here and I say, for example, after that, if I add an HR here, horizontal ruler, just to see that, now we have main component and then we have about me. Is that making sense to everyone? Can I ask you a single favor before we end our class? Can you guys create a footer component which says copyright at your name? And it is after this about me, there is another HR and then comes over there. Can you guys try that out? Create one more component, footer, with the name of footer. I want you to just focus on those standards. Name should start with a capital letter, right? And write the component code. And I know that someone would like to see the about code here because they will be writing their own code. Right? Write your own component footer. That just shows copyright at your name. Make sense? Copyright at your name. Who will show me first that I have created that footer component and I have used that? Now. Sorry? It should, maybe copyright at your name, at Nomanati, for example, and 2025, whatever, right? Just a copyright type of, footer. What comes in the, you have done that? What? Did you understand that one? Is it a good start? You understand the first one? Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. And can you show me the advertisement and then send it over? Wonderful. You just call that. Yeah, just keep that code down. So that you remember what is that function. Yes, so one student has already shown that. Nishit has already shown. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Can you show me the code? This is okay. You are doing the export default. Wonderful. You can do that. No worry. That is excellent. Done. It's the easiest thing that could be given. Oh, but can you help me do that? Go to Approach now. Oh, your project's not ready. But Okay, the app spaces.
Like outline continuous like the apps that yes it basically
Not forward slash.
no
Dash. Forget about the advanced things. First of all, you should be fine. I need to get the basics, right? Okay.
left.
I have some food. $10 here. I'll give you the.
I have to here. If that gets so bad,
So the project local server.
oh,
Using what?
we go to what? It's the reason. Now,
The nice. This will not be the nice. Yeah, project is not. This is actually. One project will not always have. This will.
I don't. It's not.
Because if you get this exactly like that. Always. It's not really like separate.
So we must let us focus on Bitcoin. Yeah, 5 minutes. So just. Now I got to know that they have to do the coding.
Yeah.
It's not like to the. Yeah. It's funny to think that way. Yeah. It's the first time that we have coding and.
Yeah, so, a word of advice, and I know that some students might get confused and do that. This index.html will never run with live server. I should bang my head on the wall if you run it with that. You know how it will run? NPM run dev, NPM run dev. If someone is trying to run it with the live server, please don't come to me. Right? Okay, so we are ending our session today. Was that interesting to learn React? And you know, it's going to be very useful. Please try to focus on what we are learning over here so that you guys get a very good idea of that one. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Did you get everything?
Yeah.
Did you create the new component? Show this one. Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. We just called that in the app.js, right? We'll talk about some fun stuff on Friday. So we just stay tuned and